It says to start it.
I did. You go ahead. Does mine say? Oh, mine says I'm live.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm gonna try and find my chat. Find my chat. Find my chat. Okay. I am looking for my chat, people. Okay, here is this. Copy that. I know, we're newbies. Forgive us.
I found the chat already. There's no one in there.
There's no one in there. Okay, thank God.
There's that human-sized Q-tip again.
What?
There's that human-sized Q-tip again.
I know. Bobby wants something to eat. And she called just as I was setting up the live stream. So
You already have a good time.
upcycle my life.
Oh,
Hello.
Hola, mi amor.
How's things?
Chaotic.
Oh, slightly. Sandy looked at me and said, I'm sorry, I didn't know they were coming. I said, no, I understand that.
Yeah,
I didn't know they were coming either. Surprise! Unexpected guests. Not knowing that we were having live stream. I understand this. It's not like it's well-known fact because we're new. I haven't told the whole world.
We're trying.
Yeah, we're trying to tell the whole world. It's something that we're just going to have to work through. Okay.
Where's Michael? Did he come back?
Not quite sure. Let's get to live chat because I'm in top chat and that doesn't tell me a bloody thing. Okay, I might message him and see if he's going to be with us.
Because I've looked and it said he read the message. Man, this weather makes me tired.
Yes, it does. I think I'm sleepy. I'm a little sleepy, a little hungry, a little...
I'm not hungry, but I'm tired.
I am hungry. I am trying to pick and choose. See these cards?
They're so cute.
And it's got nephew, you're hardworking, bright, honest, fun to be around. On the other side, there's a minimal design.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 3 faces like that, but I don't want the nephew part. Then I have more X's and O's. Different, and this one says a message for you, grandson and family. But I want to cover a box I found whilst dumpster diving. It's an old dumpster find. We didn't find the speaker, we found cords, but it's got that magnet.
Oh yeah, that's a neat cozy.
And it's got this little slot in the top. It had the plastic hanger.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, since this was pretty solid and it goes like this, I thought if I decorated it, it could be a bank.
Yeah, it could have been a really cool Valentine's box for school too.
It could be. Um, and I thought I could decorate it and make it a treasure box of some sort. And I was thinking that these cards would be perfect to do that.
Mhm.
Evie Peace, Michael, thank you for joining us. Sorry about the chaos in our lives, but this is this is how we do it. This is how we roll. This is how we roll, right? So I'm gonna reach for some more cards and see if I got more of that pattern. Huh. Because I've got a lot of cards. Let's see. Some are conducive to covering things because they're simple and they're not, they don't have a solid basic like this with a full one thing.
That's
It's
cute.
more pattern instead of a big single item. Let's see. We got this one. Look at this one.
That's cute.
Now this one, you can take some of the card off, take that heart off, or you can cover that heart, take the card. I've got plenty of these cards, cut something to cover this so it has just this pattern in this spot so
Yeah.
that it's all this pattern with the bows and it won't have like that wife thing, and that would be good. And I have a lot of those. Or if you're doing it for a child, you can do something fun like put a monster on it.
That's cute.
But I was thinking of putting something more adult. It looks like I'm going to have to get creative. And that's what this is about, being creative.
Yeah.
So I think we will do this. Take this nephew symbol out. Of all three of these. And this is cardstock, and cardstock is really good, sturdy to put on here instead of just paper, because
Yeah.
paper is really fragile to work with, and you can tear it, and this is just really easy to work with. Let's see how this works. Now we can patch because it'll butt right up against that, and then we can have like a patchwork because it's already a patchwork kind of design on the box or on the card. More chaos. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for having a light.
Hello? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Probably around.
Okay.
That'll be fine.
So this.
Okay, no problem. You're welcome.
Okay, got that. Now, that will be the front of the box. And then we're going to find a piece where it looks like it will be cohesive with that. Okay, I think I've figured out what piece will be best. So I'll put this here and I'll go and draw this line and this line. Ah, I got only one of them. Okay, we'll do that. This and this. There we go. Okay. And gotta keep a hold of my tools. This live stream is going to be chaos. I am apologizing right now. Very, very unorganized. I am so sorry. Lots of noise happening here, lots of unexpected events. And over here. Okay, now we get the glue. And we'll attach it here. And I'll attach this other piece. I know I've got a lot of dead space. I'm trying to focus so I don't mess up. Okay, so there's the front of the box. And then you would take cards and cover the whole entire box.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also use scrapbook paper. It's not as sturdy as cards. You can use cardstock. They have colored cardstock and printed cardstock. You can use wrapping paper, and you can use decoupage. What you would do with decoupage is you would paint the box, paint the whole entire box. Then you would lay the paper on and make sure that you do it really smoothly. You can take a credit card and you would take it like this and you would smooth your paper like this to make sure all the wrinkles are out. And then after it dries, then you paint another layer of decoupage on the top,
Yeah.
and that coats it. You can even use decoupage with fabric. You could cover this box with fabric. I did that on a little wooden school uh, chair table kind of thing. It was little, and my son was small, and he had a cowboy room. And I took a piece of fabric that had a picture of a cowboy on a horse with a lasso, and I cut around it, and I made sure it was trimmed really closely. And I had no fraying, just made sure that there was no edges that were frayed. And I put the decoupage on the front of it. Then I laid it down and smoothed it real smooth, waited till it dried, and then decoupaged over it. And it stayed the whole time that he had that little chair.
Wow.
And so it stayed. And I have covered all kinds of things with decoupage, and it lasts forever. It's a really good tool. Now, another thing you can do with cards, like this flower pattern,
Mm-hmm.
you can cut this off, just this edge where the words are here. I mean, my lighting is too bright, I think. There you go. Where the words are, you can just cut this like along that edge, along with the flowers and the leaves and stuff. And then you can take this, you can put it in a jar or a vase or something curved like this, and you can use it to hold pencils or something like that. This is a little bit tall, but you can use that. You can also decoupage it to a board, or you can take individual flowers and you can put them on foam core. It's like poster board with a piece of foam in the center, and you can hang them in your room. Or there's another thing I wanted to do. Better get here is when you have a mason jar and you're going to make jelly, or you're going to make, I've made those soup containers that have the mason jar, and you layer the ingredients for a soup or a recipe for cookies, salad, all those types of things. You have this lid that goes in, and then the ring goes on top of it, but you want to make it look pretty. Some people use fabrics, some people make stickers. Well, you can use gift cards and you can cut it out like that, and then you can write all your, like if they're all dry ingredients for a cookie recipe, you write what they need on the inside of this card. Like if it's cookies and they need egg, egg and milk and butter in their recipe, you write how much they need of that and what the temperature and everything is to finish it off. Then when you put this lid on, you put this on top of it and you put your ring on, makes the jar pretty, and it's the instructions. Or you can make another circle like this, pop a hole in it, tie it around it, and have it be a hang tag, like a to and from tag. You can also get, cut it in any shape you want and make tags for presents, make tags to label things. Like if you have baskets that you have on a shelf and each kid put their homework in it for you to check, or you have baskets that you have gloves and hats and scarves or whatever, you can make labels like that, because they're They're free
Mm-hmm.
because these are dumpster dive finds, or somebody's given them to you and they're going to sit in a box for the rest of their lives, or you can bring them out, turn them into something else, and use them and enjoy them and see the beauty. You can make ornaments out of these. What you do is you cut 4 of these, and I'm going to cut 4 of these and show you how you can make some beautiful ornaments. That's one. And when you're cutting any paper with scissors, instead of moving the scissors around what you're cutting, you move the paper when you cut, because what's going to happen is you'll have more control that way. So if you've got curves that you're going around, you'll be able to get uh, a better angle. Your control is better because the paper moves and it bends, and you can get into smaller spaces. Okay, there's my second one. Let's find another one that's real pretty. And they don't even have to be spectacularly different. I mean, let's see. Well, we can do it like this. We'll do another one out of this same card on a different spot. Use as much as we can of the card. And even if you have maybe a spot of a word, nobody's going to know what that word was because it's just going to show as a little spot. No one's going to look that close. And you can do these with your kids. Kids who are just learning how to cut. If you're using old greeting cards, it's not that big a deal. I mean, some people are real super sentimental, and yeah, it's a big deal. It depends on what cards you're dealing with. But then there are some people that are not that sentimental, that don't want to keep their cards all the time, that just toss them. Let me do the same card. Just do another one. Do it in a different place. Oh. Put this and then we'll move on. Now there's this pattern of ornament, and there's another one that is a lot more intricate with the folds. And that one has 3 folds and more circles. This one just has 4 circles. And what you do is you fold it in half. Fold each one of them in half. I didn't make another one of those. I'll just use this one. Fold this one in half. Then you take the glue. You glue on one side. Then you take this one and glue it to that.
Are you using super glue?
No, this is Aleene's Tacky Glue.
Uh-huh.
It's a craft glue, and it starts off real tacky so that it'll stay when you glue it. You can use this. You can use E6000. School glue will even work. I mean, it stays runnier longer. With this project, you could even use glue sticks
Yeah.
because glue sticks are specifically for paper. Kids use it all the time. But if you want it to be very sturdy, use something like tacky glue or E6000. This is just a quick project, something to show you. Now, when you're doing this, you have a little piece of cord. You can pick any kind of cord or even that thin ribbon that um, really, I think it's less than a quarter of an inch. I think it's 1/8 inch ribbon, the little thin stuff. You can use that as a loop, but you tie it in a knot and make it about that long. And you can glue it in here before you glue this last circle together. And make sure you put plenty of glue on that. And then when you finally get it um, glued up like this, you want to try to get some clothespins, clip clothespins, and clip all four sides so that it will have time to set. Now, if you want to make it fuller, you can use more circles and it'll just be fuller. But
Yes.
it'll have pretty on all sides. And then if you hang it, if you're just wanting to, you can also do this. I've seen girls do this with just two circles on a string and then go up all the way down a string and hang a bunch of strings in their window like the old beaded curtains in the 60s and 70s. But you can do this with some of these and hang them like a mobile.
Yeah.
And have them like almost like wind chimes. They don't make sound, but the wind moves them. You could use the foil cards, and that would make like little rainbows on the walls. And they just little light things that are, and you can do this with just any cardstock. You can do this with old photographs. If you find a stack of old photographs that are not relevant anymore, or somebody else's old photographs that they've thrown away, you can make circles out of that, like landscape photographs, pictures of sunsets or whatever, and you can do that with them. They easy, takes no time at all, very simple. Also, when you get cards like for an event, say I got a baby shower or a wedding shower. When you do that, you can get, this one is a little small. This is a mat that goes inside a picture frame. This one's a it was a 2-pack. That's a little shiny. Oh, it's still 2-pack. Oh, cool. But it's the beveled one. It's got like 2 layers. What you do is you can cut your cards to have some of the meanings, some of the pictures. The one I saw was about a wedding. It was a wedding cards, and they cut some of the pictures out. Right here, they had one that had a foil picture of a wedding cake, and up here they had a little bride and groom, and they covered the whole frame with wedding pictures from their wedding cards. Then they put a wedding picture in the frame and hung that or set that on their table because their cards meant something to them and it happened to be about their wedding. So it pertained to that event. If you do a baby shower, you do the baby shower cards and you put your baby's picture in. If there's a 50th anniversary or, anything. Use your cards as something to display them. Then, where's my notepad? I had it here underneath everything. Also, you can make a bowl. They have, let me see if I can cut it for you. The shape is like this. And you go around.
We have 3 lots.
Oh, cool. At least somebody likes us. Okay. Let me see. That's a little off.
He was dreaming, so I picked him up.
Huh.
Pico was dreaming, so I picked him up.
Okay. This is not exact, but resembles the picture of the shape.
Right.
You cut a big shape like this. It can have single picture on it, like some of these cards have one picture on the front. Like this card. I like this card. It's got a cutout and it's got a house.
Yeah.
Well, you could take this house and you can cut that shape out of that house and put that in there. Then what you do is, I don't have a single hole punch. I have a 3-hole punch, but you can use one corner of that 3-hole punch.
Yeah.
And you punch holes down the side and across the bottom. And then on the bottom, you make a circle. When you cut these the size of the bowl you want. This makes a bowl. If you want a big bowl, you cut them bigger. And when you measure the circumference of the bowl, you do the math to make sure you know how many of these you need and how big they need to be. There are templates online.
So, do you take a bowl that already exists?
No. This right here is one piece, one section of the bowl. You cut many of these.
You would probably have to show me. I have to have a visual.
I would say cut 4 of these.
Mm.
No, cut 8 of these. 4 for each side. Then you would stitch them together. Whip stitch them together with yarn. Then on the bottom, you have a circle. And you whip stitch the circle into the bottom. It's not a bowl that you hold like.
You just put stuff in like knickknacks.
You toss your keys in, that kind of thing. But I would cut 16 of these and put 2 together to make it more sturdy.
Have you heard of people making placemats with the cards?
Yes. You get a roll of clear contact paper.
Mm-hmm.
And you pick your cards. If you want it very sturdy, you use the card folded. The double of it.
Yeah.
If you want it more flexible, you just use the front of the card. And you pick the ones you want, lay them out, pick the size you want it to be, because some of my cards are small cards, some of them are big cards. You pick the size you want it to be, and you put it in. You could also make what I call a collage placemat. You could use scrapbook paper or cardstock.
I have a bunch of Christmas cards here for you.
And that I could do too. You can also make round placemats, or I've seen for a round table, a placemat that is shaped similar to this, so that when you put it on the round table, it fits better. You put it like this, with this side towards the outside and the smaller side towards the middle, so that it fits better on a round table, because the square ones don't ever fit because you got corners overlapping. So you make it this shape so that it fits. You don't want to point because then you wouldn't be able to put your centerpiece or your lazy Susan or whatever in the middle,
Right.
or your pots. But this is kind of the shape.
I have
But
a friend who makes the, the placemats every year
mhm.
for animals. So she gets together all the Christmas cards and she does it for animal rescues to help raise money for the animal rescues. And that's what she makes them for. And I didn't know that till the other day.
And you could do this if you have old Christmas cards and Valentine's Day cards and birthday cards, any cards from
Cool.
any occasion, Halloween cards.
I found those in the dumpster like you found those.
Mm-hmm. I have some ugly Christmas sweater cards.
Yeah, I love those.
And so you could make these things, these little silly gifts, these little ornaments, those kinds of things, and you could give them to animal shelters, you could give them to homeless shelters.
When you're making that, you know what I
sell,
think about. When you're
to
making
sell.
them.
Yeah, you could make them to sell to raise money for those groups.
You know what I think about when you're making those, though? I think about like the angel tree.
Exactly. That would be perfect for the angel tree. In fact, I could make these ornaments.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And I could hang them on the angel tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I could make one that says, take an ornament.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just to make somebody smile.
Yeah.
Because this doesn't cost me very much at all, because I dumpster dive to find a box of cards that has hundreds. I'm talking hundreds. I've got stacks and stacks of cards without envelopes. Stacks and stacks. I could make so many of these and put them all over that angel tree.
So as many Valentine cards that you have found, I've found that many Christmas cards.
I have Christmas cards. I have Halloween cards. Shay's found Christmas cards. Mother's Day, Father's Day, any cards you find, any cards that you have that you're not using, you can use in your crafts, and you can make these crafts for somebody else. It doesn't necessarily have to be you.
Mm-hmm.
You can benefit someone else. There are missions and all kinds of charitable organizations that decorate for the holidays. When I dumpster dived last night, I found a box of magazines. Now, these magazines are expensive magazines, $4 and $5 and $6 magazines. Now, you and me magazines are not a big deal, but if you're a homeless person, you can't afford a magazine.
No.
You go into the mission, and the magazines that are in the mission have been read about 700 times. They're read to pieces. So you can pick them all up, take the whole box, drop them off. People appreciate that kind of thing.
Also, the battered women and children shelters appreciate.
And also, have you ever heard of magazine beads?
Mm-mm.
Well, you take the magazine pages, try the most colorful ones, and you cut very, very long triangles. And then you take a stick, like a bamboo skewer. It has to be, bamboo skewer is best. Not like this big, but bamboo skewer.
Yeah,
and you spray it with like Pam.
Yeah.
Then you start with the biggest end of the paper and you start rolling it. And
Oh,
after you
okay.
get it on there a little bit, you put some glue.
I think I
And you keep
have.
rolling and put some glue and keep rolling and put some glue and keep on doing that. And once you get it all rolled up and glue the tip, then you take Elmer's glue and you paint that.
I have. Caitlin done this in Girl Scouts.
And there are some of these necklaces that sell at Goodwill and stuff, and it's called folk art, and they're not cheap.
No, and that's it wasn't long ago I heard about it because Kate was doing it in Girl Scouts. They were making them.
And people will wear them. It's not like the macaroni necklace.
No,
It's
yeah, I
it's
know.
a thing where
It's
it's
really neat.
it's cool and it's fun, and they'll watch for those things to come up.
I wanted to ask you, and maybe other people can tell us some of the things that they may be interested in seeing. But with my surgery coming up, I'm not going to be able to be up and moving. So I need to try and gather some things that we can work on sitting. So I wanted to ask you, and I want to ask later when people can watch our videos, some things that they may be interested in seeing us do
Mhm.
or us
Yeah.
trying out. So if anyone has any ideas, I did see that rubber stamp I wanted to carve and see how that would go. So that may be something I can do.
Yeah. I have some rubber stamps. I have some alcohol ink. I could go get I saw somebody do coasters with alcohol ink out of white tiles. I just have to look into it. I think I can do it. I
I don't
just
know
have
what
to
that
go and
is.
pick up some white tiles.
What
The ceramic tiles and alcohol ink is, I've got a lot of alcohol ink.
is
And
that?
alcohol ink is an ink that it comes in a bottle similar to this, and it's all different colors, and you put drops on the tile, and then you drop alcohol on it, and it runs, and it looks kind of like tie-dye.
Mm-hmm.
And I have all kinds of colors, even metallic colors. And then once it dries, you I don't know if you do spray clear coat or poly coat, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have to research it. But tiles, I can go to our Habitat Restore and they
Oh
sell tiles.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I got some for really inexpensive. I had some 6-inch square tiles, terracotta tiles that were shiny, and I put vinyl decals on them for Christmas one year and got the little picture stands and stood them up for Christmas presents one year.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The mosaic kit I gave you, do you think that
Mm-hmm.
they would have the glue you need?
I don't know if they'll have it, but I'll look into that too
So I
because
was
I'd like to
also
finish that one.
wondering, I had seen these people doing the melted crayon art.
That one's really cool.
I wanted to try that. I found a whole bunch of broken crayons in the dumpster.
I've seen on Pinterest some of the Pinterest fails on that. So you might want to watch some
Yeah.
YouTube videos before you try.
I got to do a lot of research and watch videos on how to do it because I don't know.
Well, you'll be laid up so you can watch some videos.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Well, after this surgery, I can't be laid up long. They want me walking.
I know they want you to walk. I know they want you to walk, but
I do think that would be neat to do.
mm-hmm. I like that idea. The one I find really interesting is the one with the picture of the little girl with the umbrella.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I like that one.
There's a
I see it
lot
everywhere.
that's so pretty. And then I do want to do the stamp.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought, you crochet.
Yeah. And to do the crochet thing, I'm going to have to do some stage crocheting. They call it stage crocheting because we have a limited amount of time here and crocheting goes over a certain period of time. So I would have to crochet how it is at the beginning, how it is a little bit further, how it is a little bit further, or start with a very small piece
Barnes
to
and
do.
Noble had these kits on clearance the other day, and I seen these crocheting ones, and they made me think of you because I thought, hey, maybe you could show me how to do something small like this, and we
Mhm.
could work on it on here together.
Well, I could teach you how to do a granny square. Now, a granny square is one of the simplest things, and that's one of the first things I did. And a granny square, you can do either a bunch of little granny squares, or you can just granny square until you're blue in the face and just make a giant granny square.
My
And
hands is what I worry about. My wrists.
well, that's why if you do granny squares, you can stop and start. It's not one of those things that you're going to forget where you are because it's a pattern, but it's a pattern that's so repetitious that you won't forget where you are.
And
Other patterns when you read them, you get you get mixed up. So a granny square is easy and you can stop at any time and start right away and know exactly where you are.
and there's something very affordable that I used to do in school, and I loved doing it. And it was like those lanyard things with the elastic stuff,
I like those lanyard things.
and that's making a
So
comeback.
I like that you're talking about the flat plastic
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, I like doing that too.
I love it. I learned how to make the twists. I learned how to make the squares. There was all different ones I would do.
Yep. Did you ever do perler beads?
I did. I love
I
those.
have perler beads here too.
I think I have some here.
Yeah, I have some here too. I was doing I have patterns for Doctor Who figures
Mhm.
from 1 to 12.
Wow.
Yeah, and I started doing them, and Sean said, I want every one of them. And I did 1 and 2, I think 1, 2, and 3, and then I got sidetracked.
This is awesome what you're doing, Laura, because I would have never thought to do that.
hmm
It's really cool.
Yeah, and I just see if you dumpster dive and you find a whole bunch of something and you have no idea what to do,
Yeah, that's exactly
go
right.
go Google it.
Hmm.
What can I do with 10,000
Cards.
Whoozy was it?
Yeah.
What can I do with, you know,
Well, we learned how to do with the broken candles, which is awesome. I've been using those wax that I made last week, and I put some up for you guys, and they smell so good.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I
And then,
appreciate that.
oh, you're welcome. I want to learn how to make my Chico sweaters.
That will be my next thing. I'm going to look in online. I will look and I will find a pattern for that, and I will make one, and I will send that when I send goodies to your house.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
I
He
will
has
pick
so
a
many clothes, but this was his very first sweater, and he loves it the most.
Yep. I don't know that I'll make him red, but I'll get him a good
Oh,
color.
you don't have to make it red. It's just the way it's fitted and made. He likes
Yeah.
it the best.
It's stretchy and good.
He was dreaming a while ago, so I picked him up because I didn't want y'all to think, what is that noise?
It's water dripping.
He makes the loudest dreaming sound. He's
Chasing
so good.
chipmunks.
Yep, he's a good boy.
Well, our live stream, it has lasted an hour,
Yeah, and it's
and
fun.
I like crafting.
I do too.
Little ornament.
And
And my
people will
box.
come back and watch it later. We need to maybe work on a different time in the evening,
Yeah.
so they won't be at work.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't want to leave Michael out, so
No. That's why we keep up this time, because we like it when our moderator's here.
mhm.
Not that we have any trolls or anything.
No, but we like to make him feel special
Yeah, because he is.
in various ways.
Well, this has been Every Day with Laura,
And Shay and Chico.
and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.